Dott TV, the heart of the matter.
In the heart of Asaba, where the street tells the stories every single day.
From the corridors of powers to the decisions shaping governance and politics in Delta and Nigeria.
From traders counting every naira to families battling rising costs and uncertain times.
From football pitches to sporting successes to the major developments making the headlines all over the world.
And from the untold human stories, the struggles, victories, resilience, and hope of the everyday Nigerians.
This is the news beyond the headlines. Dott TV News are your trusted window to stories that truly matter to the people. Here, we don't just report events, we tell the human stories behind them.
Good afternoon and welcome to Dott Television Midday News. I am Nkechi Chukwudi. We begin here in Delta State, where the state governor has disclosed that the newly constructed Model Technical College in Ogareki, Ethiopia West Local Government Area will be ready for inauguration by Governor Sheriff Oborori within the next few weeks. The State Commissioner of Works, Rural Roads and Public Information, Charles Aniago, made this known during an inspection of the facility alongside the Commissioner for Technical Education, Smart Ufo, and the Chairman of the Ethiopia West Local Government Council, Chris Anoba.
Aniago said the inspection was undertaken to assess the project's readiness ahead of its commissioning, noting that some minor defects and unfinished aspects were observed and will be corrected before the governor's visit. According to him, the contractor and relevant ministries have been directed to address all identified issues within 2 weeks to ensure the institution meets the high standards set by the Oborowori administration. He expressed satisfaction with the quality of the facility, describing it as a world-class institution capable of competing with universities in some states.
We have come here today in continuation of His Excellency's effort to expanding educational opportunities to our people in Delta. This is the Model Technical College in Ogareki. And of course, you recall that not long ago, we commissioned the Model Technical College in Omadina. We had come here today to see the extent of readiness ahead of His Excellency's inauguration of this particular project. But in the course of our inspection, we found out that there are certain T's that need to be crossed, and of course, a number of I's that also need to be dotted. We are happy that His Excellency Right Honorable Elder Sheriff Francis Orowedo Oborowori is taking steps to connect our people via durable roads, ensure that the educational opportunities are being expanded so that our children are able to have the best of education.
Aniago, as well as the local government chairman, assured that adequate security measures have been incorporated into the project, including perimeter fencing, security wire installations, controlled access through a main gate, and hostel facilities for students.
You saw that when we were coming into this environment, we passed through a gate, which means you cannot even come into this institution from anywhere except through the gate. You could also see that we did not just only provide fence, there are also wire gauze on top of the fence, which means if you decide to climb the wire gauze, no matter who you are, it means you are a criminal because there is a gate for you to pass. So that's first of all, first level of security. If we can take steps to protect the equipment that are being supplied, be rest assured that Oborowori, who values the individual even more than the equipment, will protect the students that will be here.
This project is very dear to us. I'll tell you why. Number one reason why this project is very dear to us is targeted towards empowering the young people in the state, particularly the young people in my local company. What other thing can be better than having an institution where our young boys will be taken off the street and they are trained? And that training means that they will be empowered. They will now have capacity to fend for themselves. And if we do that, the overall implication is that we'll be reducing the level of crime and criminality in this area.
On staffing, the Technical Education Commissioner assured that plans were already underway to recruit and deploy more teachers to guarantee a smooth takeoff of academic activities at the institution. He noted that the institution would help reduce unemployment and crime by providing young people with practical skills and opportunities for self-development.
Here, we have come to observe and notice some of the little errors. The contractor has done his bit, has tried, and on this note, I'm giving my ministry, the PS and others, a matching order with the Ministry of Housing to come back here to make sure that most of these errors are pointed out.
The Model Technical College Ogaraki is one of several technical education projects being executed by the Waterway administration under its more agenda to expand access to quality technical and vocational education across Delta State. Emeka Okonkwo, reporting for Dott TV News.
Our next report focuses on safety in schools following repeated attacks targeting school pupils and their teachers in parts of Nigeria.
Educators, parents, and stakeholders have raised concerns over the growing wave of coordinated attacks on schools by bandits and criminal elements. They say the persistent assaults are not only undermining the education system, but also leaving lasting psychological effects on students, teachers, and school communities.
The recent attacks on education in Nigeria is really frightening. It's something that we didn't think we'd get here. And my biggest fear as a mother is that a time is coming in this country that we may likely not have sane environments to raise our doctors, our lawyers, our engineers, our tech gurus, because this education starts from secondary school. And that's where this abduction is really taking place right now.
It's going to affect the human resource production in Nigeria, because you cannot take education away from a growing economy and a growing nation as well. Education is like the bedrock of every nation.
People don't really feel too safe going to schools unlike before. What the government should do is they should tackle the insecurity outside. By the time they tackle it, the schools will be safer.
With recurring attacks on educational institutions nationwide, many classrooms are gradually being transformed from centers of learning into zones of fear and uncertainty. Concerned citizens are calling on government and security agencies to take decisive action to protect schools, guarantee the safety of learners and teachers, and preserve the future of education in the country. For Dott TV News, Onyeka Odiase.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian Union of Journalists, Delta State Council, has expressed concerns over rising insecurity, illegal taxation, arbitrary school levies, weak enforcement, and the anti-opening grazing law and other socio-economic challenges affecting the state. The concerns were contained in a communique issued at the end of the union's monthly congress held at the NUJ Press Center, Asaba, on June 23, 2026. The Congress, presided over by the State Chairman Churchill Oyowe, deliberated extensively on critical issues bordering on governance, security, infrastructure, education, environmental management, and public welfare. Among its resolutions, the Union condemned the proliferation of substandard and unauthorized billboards in the modern urban centers, including Asaba, Warri, and Efuru, warning that such structures pose safety risk, distort urban planning, and contribute to revenue losses. And in Oyo State, the Nigerian Union of Teachers has said that the reopening of public schools in the state should only be after the government puts adequate security measures in place. Recall that the NUT had directed teachers in public schools to embark on an indefinite strike following the abduction of over 40 students and teachers in Orire local government area of the state on May 15th. The development comes as the State Police Command on Tuesday debunked a misleading and unfounded video circulating on social media alleging that the abducted school children and teachers from Ahoro, Isele, Yawata communities in Orire local government area of Oyo State have been moved to Kaduna State via a helicopter. The secretary for the NUT in Oyo, Olukayode Salami, said schools might reopen once the government implements adequate security measures to restore confidence among teachers, parents, and learners. Meanwhile, the Oyo state government has imposed a 16-hour curfew across 10 local government areas bordering the Old Oyo National Park following the recent abduction of school children and teachers in Orire local government area. Governor Sheyi Makinde approved the security measure on Tuesday as authorities intensified efforts to rescue victims and prevent further attacks in the community around the park. According to a memo issued by the Secretary of the State Government, Musiubao Babatunde, the curfew takes effect from Wednesday and will run from 4 p.m. to 8 a.m. daily for an initial period of 48 hours. The affected local government areas of Orire, Orelokwe, Irokwe, Saki West, Saki East, Etisabo, Etiwajusi, Oruguse, and Atiba will take effect. To Anambra State, where the Inspector General of Police, Olatunji Dusi, is urging residents of the state to stop shielding criminals and provide timely intelligence to security agents, warning that a culture of silence was enabling kidnappers and cultists and other criminal elements to thrive in the communities. The IGP made the call during a strategic stakeholders engagement on security held in Awka, Anambra State capital. Represented by the Deputy General of the Police in charge of the Southeast, Kenechukwu Onwemele, the IGP said effective crime fighting requires active collaboration between the police, communities, and other stakeholders. He noted that the engagement being held across the country's 6 geopolitical zones was aimed at strengthening partnerships and developing practical solutions to prevailing security challenges. Elsewhere, the Kaduna State Police Command has arraigned 24 suspects before a magistrate court, NDA Junction, Kaduna, over their alleged involvement in the mob killing of a woman in Maraban, Jos. The suspects were charged with criminal conspiracy, incitement of public disturbance, mischief, destruction of public and police property, and culpable homicide. According to the police, the arraignment followed a comprehensive investigation into the incident that occurred on June 21, 2026, when the victim was allegedly killed by a violent mob after being removed from police custody. During the court proceedings, the case was mentioned and subsequently adjourned until July 21st for further hearing. The court also ordered that all the 24 suspects be remanded in a correctional facility pending the determination of the case. To other stories now, 47 sacks of military camouflage uniforms and 80 cartons of suspected illicit substances have been intercepted by the anti-kidnapping unit along the Lekki-Ekpe axis in a major intelligence-led operation by the Lagos State Police Command. Speaking with journalists at the command headquarters in Ikeja, the Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Tijani Fatai, said the truck used in the operation was allegedly conveying the military uniforms of the Southeast. Fatai added that 4 suspects have been arrested and are assisting investigators in efforts to identify and apprehend those behind the importation. The police commissioner added the cartons of suspected illicit drugs were also being transported alongside the sacks of military camouflage uniforms. The Joint Task Force Operation World Stroke has cautioned both operators, mariners, and residents of riverine communities to take extra safety precautions as rising water levels during the rainy season heighten danger of accidents on inland waterways. In a statement released by the Acting Media Information Officer Ahmed Zubeiru, the Maritime Component Commander said, increased water volumes across waterways has created stronger currents and turbulence, posing a threat to transportation and other activities on the rivers. According to him, the ongoing rains have significantly raised water levels, creating conditions that could lead to serious incidents if safety regulations are ignored. To minimize the risk, the Maritime Component directed all passengers and mariners to wear life jackets throughout their journeys and instructed boat operators to ensure that every vessel carries at least one life buoy. Still ahead on Midday News, USA names Nigerians and 3 bureau de change firms among ISIS financiers, plus foreign and sports stories coming up after this time out. Don't go anywhere.
In the heart of Asaba, where the street tells the stories every single day.
From the corridors of powers to the decisions shaping governance and politics in Delta and Nigeria.
From traders counting every naira to families battling rising costs and uncertain times.
From football pitches to sporting successes to the major developments making the headlines all over the world.
And from the untold human stories, the struggles, victories, resilience, and hope of the everyday Nigerians.
This is the news beyond the headlines. Dott TV News are your trusted window to stories that truly matter to the people. Here, we don't just report events, we tell the human stories behind them.
Welcome back. The United States has designated a Nigerian national and 3 companies operating in the country as alleged financial facilitators of activities linked to the terrorist group, the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria. They were designated in the latest action, which targeted a total of 3 individuals and 6 entities accused of facilitating the movement of funds for ISIS operations globally. In a statement, U.S. Department of State spokesman Thomas Pigott said designations cut across France, Syria, Turkey, and Nigeria. According to the statement, the Nigerian is Mukhtar Adamu Mohammed of number 45 Abimbola Street off Capitol Road, Morkas, Agege, Lagos State, Nigeria. According to the statement, one of the firms indicted is Generation Currency Bureau de Change Limited, linked to Mukhtar Adamu and the ISIS network. And now to politics. Ekiti State Governor and candidate of the All Progressive Congress is last Saturday's governorship election, Biodu Oyebanji, on Tuesday received his certificate of return from the INEC Commission, pledging the deepened good governance and accelerate sustainable development across the state. The National Commissioner in charge of Oyo, Ekiti, and Lagos State, Sam Olomeku, presented the certificate to Governor Yebanji at the brief ceremony held at the INEC State Office in Ado-Ekiti, the state capital. His running mate and incumbent Deputy Governor, Mrs. Monishade Afuye, also received her certificate at the event. Speaking shortly after receiving the certificate, the governor stated that his second term would focus on consolidating existing achievements while implementing policies aimed at improving citizens' welfare. The special advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, has said he does not see the extent of hunger Nigerians have complained about amid rising living costs. Onanuga made the remarks during a television interview where he said the federal government has increased the minimum wage by more than 100%. His comments come amid continuing public concerns over food prices, inflation, and the rising cost of living across the country. The management of Dangote Petroleum Refinery has dismissed claims that petroleum products refined at its facility are exported to Lome, Togo, and subsequently re-imported into Nigeria. Recent claims online have suggested that products produced at Dangote Refinery are exported to neighboring countries and then re-imported into Nigeria. Reacting in a statement issued via its X handle on Tuesday, the refinery's management described the allegation as unfounded and unsupported by trade realities. The management stated that it was compelled to respond despite its policy of not engaging with what it termed baseless and unsubstantiated claims. Let's now join Emeka Okonkwo for news on the international scene.
The Republican-controlled U.S. Senate has approved a measure demanding that President Donald Trump halt the war in Iran or seek congressional approval before continuing military action. But the resolution is largely symbolic because even after passing both chambers of Congress, it will not be sent to Trump for his consideration and does not carry the force of the law. A handful of Republicans joined Democrats in Tuesday's 50-48 votes. It came as Republicans in Congress have expressed skepticism about a peace plan. Trump agreed with Iran, and the unpopular conflict approaches its fifth month. Trump criticized the resolution on Tuesday night, calling it poorly timed and meaningless. Meanwhile, the UN's International Maritime Organization, IMO, is set to evacuate more than 11,000 sailors who have been stranded in the Gulf because of the U.S.-Israel war against Iran. IMO Secretary General Arsenio Dominguez said the large-scale operation would be carried out in cooperation with Iran, Oman, the U.S., and other coastal states in the region and the maritime industry. An interim deal was signed last week to end the conflict, but both the U.S. and Iran continue to clash on details of the Memorandum of Understanding. The U.S. has said the MOU includes guarantees that Iran's nuclear weapons program will come under inspection by the International Atomic Energy Agency. Elsewhere, a UN report says sexual violence is increasingly being used as a weapon of war in Sudan to terrorize the civilian population. The violence is unprecedented in terms of the scale, prevalence, and brutality of its widespread use as a weapon of war. Sudan has been hit by a devastating civil war since 2023, following a fallout between the army, the paramilitary rapid support forces. And finally, Kenya prosecutors say they are preparing to charge several students with the murder of their schoolmates following a suspected school arson attack last month. 16 pupils aged between 15 and 18 died, and dozens more were injured when a fire broke out in a dormitory at Utumishi Girls' School in Georgia, about 120 kilometers northwest of the capital, Nairobi. 8 students were later arrested after police said they have been involved in setting the fire by setting mattresses alight near an exit. The May 28 fire tore through the upper floor of a dormitory containing 135 bunk beds and housing 202 students, forcing them to flee through a single doorway after the emergency exit failed to open. I am Emeka Okonkwo, Dott TV.
And now for sports stories, here is Anthony Uche.
On today's news from the sports desk, we'll start with some domestic football, where the national team head coach Eric Schell has reached an agreement, reportedly, to extend his contract with the NFF, and he will also overtake the under-23 national team with the aim of qualifying them for the 2028 Olympics. The news was announced yesterday by the head of the National Sports Commission, Shehu Diko. And now to some World Cup news. Portugal defeated Uzbekistan by 5-0, with Cristiano Ronaldo scoring a brace. England struggled to break down a resolute Ghana defense and were held to a goalless draw by the Black Stars. England, though, qualified following the results between Panama and Croatia, where Croatia defeated Panama by a single goal to nil, and the goal was scored by Ante Bodemir. In the final game of matchday 13, Colombia booked their place in the last 32 after defeating DR Congo by a goal to nil. And the Africans will now have to win their last game against Uzbekistan by a considerable margin to stand any chance of qualifying to the next round. From the sports desk, Anthony Uche, Dott TV News.
That's a wrap on the midday news on Dott Television. Thank you for joining us. I am Nkechi Chukwudi. Bye for now.
In the heart of Asaba, where the street tells the stories every single day.
From the corridors of powers to the decisions shaping governance and politics in Delta and Nigeria.
From traders counting every naira to families battling rising costs and uncertain times.
From football pitches to sporting successes to the major developments making the headlines all over the world.
And from the untold human stories, the struggles, victories, resilience, and hope of the everyday Nigerians.
This is the news beyond the headlines. Dott TV News are your trusted window to stories that truly matter to the people. Here, we don't just report events, we tell the human stories behind them.